Hey guys, how's it going? This is Pak. Today it's Monday. Today is my day off. Worked a week. Uh, I was off Saturday, but we had a tech coming in to check out our video system, and I worked on Saturday, so I just worked a full week since Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today is my day off, and so I have this idea of this new project for work, really. Sort of like a documentary series that I want to start. Um, so that's really exciting. It's really exciting for me, and I think it's gonna look very cool. Um, but just with that, I want to start just sharing kind of like my journey um, in church production. How did I get here? How did I learn? Like everything that I've just gone through, and I don't think it's gonna be a one video. I'll just probably do some steps on how I got there. But if we just go all the way back, I grew up in Tijuana, Mexico. I grew up in church. My parents converted into Christians when my brother was born, so I was 1 year old. I grew up in church. I went to a Christian elementary school and grew up there. Uh, I started playing the keyboard and piano at fourth grade, I believe, probably earlier. But I remember fourth grade for sure. Started playing piano at the school, which was part of a church. So by essence, we started playing at church. I didn't get too involved in the beginning. Like always, I overthink everything. So my brother joined in the worship. My sister joined in the worship as well. I stayed back and I just like playing for the school. I like playing for school and I just like going to the youth groups and stuff. But my beginnings in ministry was worship. I started playing piano. When we moved here to San Diego, I joined right away the worship team at my new church. I was playing keyboard in the youth group for years. We're playing different bands with my friends. Basically, the same people for the worship team. We had our own band. We would play in coffee shops and we would play in different places. So I just grew developing this ministry life, this life that it never ended. During the day, we had school. In the afternoon, I never joined in extracurricular activities at school because my extracurricular was church. I never went to school dances. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to grad night. And people were like, "Oh, you have no life." Like I don't have a life on my school campus, but I have a life at church. Every time, as soon as school was done, we were at church. My brother and I, my sister too. That's it. That was our life. Church every time after school on Saturdays. If there was nothing going on in the mornings, we would hang out with our church friends and just do little videos for fun. We did so many videos back before Instagram, um, back before Facebook. Really, it was the MySpace times, and we just had this old school camera. And we just do videos for fun, and it's just so stupid. I wish there was a way to get them back, but there's no way. They were on big tapes that eventually we trashed. Um, we just did videos for fun that we would play on Friday nights at our youth groups. Why? Because it was fun. Back then everything was different. In the church life and in the ministry life, things were a little different. Right now, I believe that social media connected like basically all the churches. Like everyone knows kind of what everyone is doing. So it is good. It is a good thing. It is definitely a good thing. Thumbs up. But it kind of put everyone like on the table. Everyone's on the table. You're not gonna be doing all this silly nonsense things on youth group because everyone's watching. And also since you're watching, you get inspired and you get influenced by these other churches what they're doing. So everyone's just like feeding off each other and growing together. But back then we just did videos for fun with our friends, and then we were playing my youth group because they were funny. There was no point to it. Sometimes we started putting messages once the video started hitting a church. We started putting some little messages there. We had these videos. I ain't even gonna do that. If you want to know, just ask me some questions about this videos. I'll tell you. But we basically invented all these characters that revolved around this world, and and it was funny. Every video was connected. Eventually, we did some storylines, and I'm talking here what, like I was probably like 16 years old. Um, we're talking a long time ago. So it was funny. That was the beginning of my video world, because before that, since I was in fourth grade up until I was like 15, 16 years old, my ministry and creative life revolved around music, um, the piano, worship, my creative life as in church, because I just did so many other things on my own, like drawing and writing. I've been doing that since I was a kid, sitting on my grandma's table. I still could go over my grandma's house and find notebooks or papers where I was drawing and writing as a kid. But church and ministry life, I started with music for a long time. And these videos were just a side thing. We just did these videos on the side. I was recording. Why? Because I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I've never been one to be in front of the camera. And it was fun. I loved it. I loved doing these videos. There was really no editing. It was that's crazy. I just remember all the editing was done on camera. So if you mess anything up, you have to rewind it and then leave it where you wanted to start the new scene and start from there. And if there was any mistakes, you would see in the video. Like, I had no editing programs. Everything that you recorded was gonna play that week. And that's insane to think. Now that I work in video production, you can record anything. You can record 45 minutes of footage knowing that if you mess up and if I just like do this, I can go back and cut it and then show you the flawless clip, change the shot so it looks like seamless, so it looks like there's no mistakes. Back then, it was just a big handheld camera. You had to cut every scene. You had to think. If you wanted to play any music, we'll play music on like something, on the background so we could see it. Eventually, years after that, we're still doing it, and then I got like iMovie, and I could put like a music track and do some basic cuts. But there was no intention behind it. It was just for fun. We're doing this for fun. Never did I know that it was gonna turn into something that I do for a living, right? So I love that. That's basically like the beginning of my ministry life and basically my career, my job as a video editor. It's opened so many doors and opportunities since then. And I remember, I still have friends from those days that you don't talk to for years, and eventually they hit me up and they're like, "Hey, dude, Paco, do you still have those tapes? Do you still have those videos? They want to check it out." And sadly, they don't exist. Like back then, it was not the same as today. We didn't keep everything on our phones, and we didn't keep everything on our computers. No, can't get them back. You can't get them back, and it's funny because I just remember. But the cool thing about that, just sharing here my thoughts is like there's only a group of people that remember that and that know that happened, and that's like the craziness of my generation, because I see the new generations now, and even my nephews and nieces, they grew up with like full technology. They're gonna grow up in this VR world and this documented life, and they're gonna remember everything. I still have videos from when they were born, all the way up until now. You can make movies of each person, and how cool would that be? Like I remember thinking when my niece was born, my first niece, Sarah, I was already a video editor. I was already working in video, and I thought, what if just like make this life journey? But no, that's her life, and that's not for me to document. And we're gonna document as a family, not as a project. You know what I mean? But it's like all those things happen now, all those thoughts. One back then, which is this videos, and then we would record over them to get the next one, because we're not gonna be buying tapes for just like random videos of fun, and you wouldn't got those hard drives, and we're just kids as well. Like maybe there was all the equipment available, obviously, to do that, but we just weren't doing that. Like it wasn't available for us here in Chula Vista. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the roots of what you do. How can I say it? The roots of what you do are getting fed, and all those times that you're not even thinking. Um, so for me, it was that, joining music as a kid, growing in a church, being in a church 24/7, being at church on the weekends with my friends, and just doing ministry for fun. We didn't know that was a ministry back then. Nobody taught us that. Nobody explained to us that we were doing ministry. We're going out of our way on our days off to hang out and produce content for the youth group. For us, it was fun because we were going to invest so much time on youth group, and so much time on these new people coming in. And it was just a different mentality. Nobody was training us in how this church life was going to go, and that now we still do this, basically at a different capacity, in a different format. But we were already getting trained by ourselves, we're getting trained to continue and putting in the hours and putting in the work and putting in the effort and growing and learning and just trusting each other and communicating and relating and just doing so many things together. Um, I was in that youth group for about 4 or 5 years, and it's been one of the best experiences in my life because it was the roots and foundation of who I am now. Um, we would go and set up the chairs, set up all the equipment, set up the worship, set up the stage, put on the videos, and then when it was finished, we would just go grab a burrito and break everything down, record over the tape, and do it again. Um, I grew up in that world. I grew up in that ministry world. It was a very hands-on world, very hands-on ministry, and it was good. It was good because now I do church, and now the world is different. A lot of people come in and they're asking, "Well, give me. What are you gonna show me?" And I don't see that. Like, there's no way. Like, it's not wired into my brain to come into a church place and say, "Well, what do you got for me?" For me, is like, "Well, what do we got for them? What are we doing? What are we gonna like? What is the thing? And we get comfortable sometimes uh, now because everything is like so well structured and planned that is like, okay, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, but it's like, well, who's the one behind it? Who's doing it? And if no one's doing it, or who's gonna do it? Back then we weren't even thinking, what do you got for me? Like, we would have to show up to church with an empty room, and it was not like, oh, well, who's setting up for me? They're like, guys, look, pick up some chairs, pick up some tables, pick up some cables, and let's go. Let's do it. That was the life. That was the foundation of who I am today. And I was just thinking, just going down my Instagram. I didn't even go that far. I don't have any pictures from back then, um, at all. I don't think I do. Um, but just going down, like on your feed, I started remembering like what was before this. I remember my life from like in ministry life, like 10 years from today or 5 years. Like, this is what the world looks like right now. But like, what was before? Like, I was recording tapes over every week, and that was it. Now I can go back and see everything that I've done this year really quick. I got all my hard drives labeled by years. But what happened before, I don't know. So just sharing here over coffee, and yeah, uh, I would say, think about your roots. How did you end up doing ministry? How did you end up doing what you do, your career? And I can promise you that it didn't start the way you think it started. It started before. It started at fourth grade when I started playing piano at my school. It started when I was drawing and writing on my grandma's table, and it started with a group of friends just recording videos for fun on Saturdays under the 54 freeway bridge with a yellow Teletubby. Yeah, that just popped into my brain right now. We did this video one day under the 54 bridge, and it was supposed to be like God's gonna rescue you kind of video, but this guy didn't want to get rescued by people. He wanted to get rescued by God. So he was waiting, and there was like so many, like three of my other friends came by trying to help him. He said, "No, God's gonna help me," and then he drowns. But obviously, we're not gonna throw him in the river. So we used a yellow Teletubby from my friends, like someone like his nephew or whatever it was, and we just threw it in the water, floating away like it was a person. The most ridiculous thing I've ever. Oh my god. Anyhow, that's it. I mean, I didn't even get too far, and it's already been 20 minutes of recording. Um, but yeah, for whoever stayed, stick around. Thank you for listening. Like I just want to share more of this, like ministry process in life, and just in general what I do. It's really cool when you start sharing with no agenda, because you start to remember things like the yellow Teletubby. I don't know its name, but yeah, thank you. That's the very beginning of how I started doing ministry and the roots of what I do. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit me up on messages if you want to talk more about it, if you have any questions, or in general, if you want to just give a thumbs up, it's cool. If not, it's cool. I'm having coffee. I'm just sharing. But yeah.